Lucky number 7. Okay, so this is the 7th video. I just did a little chat GPT. I found some carvings in the wall. It says what looks like Sherry, and then it has a number, what looks like 8933383, and then it says crib, I think, underneath. And someone carved it into my closet wall. And so I just saw that now, and I said to ChatGPT, what's going on with this? And it was like, that was made a long time ago. So I was like, oh yeah, why? And it said, because if it was just made recently, it would look like really bright lines, and these lines look kind of faded. And so I was like, okay, so I got a nail and I tried carving something right above it, and it did actually look much brighter. So apparently this was carved in there sometime a bunch of time ago. And one of the commercials we get is Rexall, which sounds kind of like rectum. I don't know like what kind of deal with that is, but they send us commercials for Rexall a lot. And so when I Googled this number with the area code, the place Rexall Pharmacy came up. Deliver your pharmacy, deliver this pharmacy delivery. Is that some kind of connection? Pharmacy delivery crib? I don't even know. I mean, you try to figure out some coded messages, and it's like, you think, is someone on the other end of this watching, and they're just happy that someone's trying to figure it out or something? And what kind of name is Sherry? I knew one woman named Sherry. Her name was Cheryl, really. I talked about her in a recent video, actually, or in a post. Her husband had died, and she was wishing she was manic. She was, I shouldn't even... I'm sure she wouldn't mind, okay? I'm sure she wouldn't mind. But anyways, I wanted to tell her, if you want to get manic, just stop drinking any water and stop eating, and that'll make you high as fuck. But that's really dangerous, because you get feeling so good, and you're actually getting really sick at the same time, because you can't remove your toxins because you're not drinking any water, and your body can't cleanse or heal. So you actually feel good when you can't cleanse or heal. Cleansing and healing is actually painful. So there are some people who die from dry fasting, and so I didn't bring that up. And by that point, I was already over being manic too. I mean, I used to really enjoy being manic, and I wished for it and I longed for it. It was the best thing I had. I hadn't found a middle point yet, which the middle point is a synthesis between the two. What I'm trying to say here is the middle point is better than half of each, if that makes sense. The closer you get to the middle, the better. It's like something new happens. It's like the water boils at 100 degrees or something. Like it changes. You're in a certain boat, and you're going back and forth in this boat. And the middle point is a different boat. The middle point is the access to a different boat. And so by that point, I wasn't like, you should try to get manic, because you don't really want to be manic. It's not actually as cool as you think it is. I don't really know what mania is, but I think I've been it, and it's like, it's intense. It's easy to offend people when you're manic. And it's easy to feel bad the next day. And hold on, I have to get a song. I'm sorry about this, but so what should we talk about today? I don't really know. Okay, I did get some, like, information these days. I don't really know if there's... I don't know if I got my handler targeted. I was wondering about that. I'll just plainly say it. If there are gang stalkers... Okay, for example, a car will come by to make a threat. And then another car, right at that moment, will go by who's a friendly car who doesn't do the threat. And the friendly car is from someone who really cares about us. Like, as if to say, that would be... as if to threaten them back. And so I don't know if I'm seeing that correctly. And then I get these commercials too, where I see the unfriendly gang stalkers in the commercials. And then I see the friendly gang stalker who is going like this. Like, I'm watching the ones who are... And so this has happened consistently. I wasn't looking for this, and I started to notice. I thought, are they threatening this friendly... There's another friendly person... There's someone friendly towards us. And I started to think, are they threatening that person too? Or is that friendly person who is perhaps a handler as well? Or someone who, I think is frankly rich as fuck and powerful? That's basically what I started wondering. Have we outranked... Do we have gang stalker friends who have outranked my handler and who have targeted my handler? And I believed that for a little while, and I still don't know, but it seems kind of like I'm getting these cues. Now, the other thing could be maybe this friendly person is also sending threats to me. Maybe that's just a threat to me, but I kind of don't think it. Like, for example, there was a truck that drove by and they parked down the street where they tried to run over Todd. And then and then the friendly gang stalker drives by where the truck goes. And when the friendly gang stalker drives by, I know they're not going to stop where the truck parked. I know they're going to drive right by the truck's house. Or, basically that. But that's happened times enough now where I started to go, oh, okay, is this what I think it is? And then I felt a sense of security. Like, okay, so that means that there's every correspondence my handler makes with everyone is now being watched by someone who disapproves of the handler's behavior. And so therefore I'm safe. And I really felt safe. I was like, okay, I'm covered. I got it. And then I was like feeling really sad. What about all the TIs who don't have anyone looking out for them? Like, isn't that like so sad? And I wanted to carry their cross, and I wanted to say, keep it secret that I have been let out of Shawshank in a sense. Like, I don't think they can stop me from getting gang stalked or transfer handlers. Like, transfer me from one handler to another. But I think they can say, okay, now we targeted, you. You got targeted too now. Which, would help many people, because my handler is bad. I don't know whether to say, man, I sure do like the faction that is helping me, and the handler who I have is like really bad. But if you want to go down with the logic, because then it's like I'm siding with gang stalkers and I'm not on any team. And but if you go with the logic that everyone is a gang stalker, and the only ones who don't know are the TIs, and you kind of know what people accept and not, and the handler has done a lot of things that the general public does not accept, does not think is okay. And the handler only would have done that because their flying monkeys couldn't complain, and it would all be kept secret. And I brought it out into the public, and that may have made the handler more aggressive and more egregious, where perhaps I had more credibility then, or something like that. I don't know if someone just cares about us, or if I exposed enough deeds of the handler that a different handler said, now we're going to target the handler. Like if there's higher ranking handlers or richer handlers. And so maybe there are, I think I have less sleep deprivation now. This has been something I've noticed in like the last week or something. And the last time there was a vehicular assault, it was like a couple weeks ago, and a car was driving out of the Shoppers parking lot on Weber, and it just pushed its nose out a little bit too far and made me have to merge into the other lane, where I hit a pothole, and then right at that time they had an oncoming car beep, which it wasn't like there was a near collision, but it was just kind of, disconcerting. And then they have constant vehicular threats and, rape threats on the commercials and, death threats and all this. Those are constantly every day. But then when they're like really visible, like if they do something like really visible outside, then the friendly car comes by, as if to say, we got you surrounded. We're Raza Ghul and you're Bane, and we're a group of psychopaths who have outcasted you because you're too psychopathic. Now, I almost don't want to say that, because obviously if someone's looking out for you, you want to be thankful and you don't want to call them a group of psychopaths. But, supposing I'm right about, let's just suppose the psychopathy is a hypothesis. But supposing I'm right that you're helping me because Handler does bad things to innocent and vulnerable people. And you say, I don't like it when people do bad things to innocent and vulnerable people. So I'm going to use my power as a gang stalker to stop that from happening in my local neighborhood. Well, what's the point of your gang stalking to begin with? It's to keep war crimes as a part of society so that some other person who's vulnerable in some other country can get displaced and get kidnapped. So it's like, well, I'll protect my local crew. But what's the price of being a gang stalker? I mean, what's your modus operandi? You think it's to protect people? Well, if you're protecting me, I'm like, thank you, Well, I think it's psychopathic to eat meat, too. I think it's psychopathic to be monogamous, too. My dad said psychopaths are safe allies as long as they remain allies. So I don't think it's like there's animosity or anything. There was this guy I still watch him sometimes on YouTube, and he says that even racist people like him, which you'd never expect. And because he has a way of just reaching people and dealing with people that's not like confrontational, and he's like intuitive, and And I felt a sort of parallel sense with, and he likes racist people. He likes people in general. He likes people who he's not supposed to like. And so I feel a strange sense of parallel friendship with inimical gang stalkers who are from an opposite faction and they're being told what to do. And so I don't necessarily think that, okay, man, the faction that's helping me is super great, and the faction who's hurting me, I hate them so much. I don't really pick a side. I mean, I think the whole thing is like terrible. And you might say, well, I don't personally silence someone like Candace Owens. You know, when someone speaks out against war crimes, um, you know, I don't personally criticize Candace Owens. You know, I might just follow her or something. You know, I might just wear my red coat when I'm near her or something like that. But you're still contributing to it. But I felt like I went, in a sense, beyond the authority of the police and CSIS and the FBI, and that I appealed to the general public. Maybe I just got lucky because there's someone who cares about us, and that's the only reason why. But I at least made everything public so that they could have the exposure to it and say, oh, now I see what's happening. Because otherwise, I don't think they would. And so ultimately, it's women who uphold the patriarch. You know, it sounds like I'm just name calling. Oh, well, I got a bad deal at your store. You wouldn't let me return my socks. Well, you're an exploiter. You exploit the most vulnerable. Oh, the patriarch? What's your deal? You exploit the most vulnerable. The matriarch? You exploit the most vulnerable. That's what you do. Okay, it sounds like name calling. But it's the matriarch and the patriarch and CSIS and the FBI and the CIA and the clubs, the secret societies. They're all the same people. And the matriarch upholds the inequality in society socially, and the patriarch does it with technology. So in a sense, I was appealing to women. You know, the highest boss in town is women. They're higher than the clubs, you know, the men's clubs and the the people who use sirens to extort the public for funding. And so I felt like I had surprised myself. That damn good job, Z-Bubs. You not only helped yourself, you helped other people too. There are certain things that can't happen anymore. Now, maybe I'm totally wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I don't have a single friend, you know, etc. Maybe it's all against me. Maybe what I'm perceiving as someone helping is someone threatening. Maybe it's someone threatening the person who I think is a friend. Maybe it's another cryptic message. I don't know. But I can guarantee the things that the handler has done, the public does not accept that. And so I have to believe that if there are opposing factions, the majority of people will be on this side of the faction that is helping us, in which case I feel quite protected. And I feel a little bit bad for the gang stalkers who are the employees of the handler, who then have a different handler saying, if you do it, that's going to be bad. And then their own handler is saying, if you don't do it, that's going to be bad. And they're caught in like a catch-22, which seems to be the point, kind of setting people at war against each other. I mean, doesn't that kind of seem like the point, to make also people go to war against each other in the first world countries, to pit society against itself? Well, I was really relieved to feel taken care of, to feel protected. I was extremely relieved. And then I remembered back to, well, how did I feel before then? I was kind of scared. But my fear is a little bit different now. It's not really the kind of fear that makes me scared, if that makes sense. I don't know how to make sense of that, but the fear doesn't make me, like, it doesn't affect my psychology. It doesn't make me, it doesn't ruin my mood. I'm still, you can still talk to me about something, watermelon, for example, and my attention will be on the watermelon. Whereas if the fear got inside of me, we would be talking about watermelon, but I would be thinking about, but they sent me this thread and it really scares me and I can't stop thinking about it. And that's where my mind is. I can still focus on what I'm doing. Like, I'm still present here with you. Our foster dogs had a good day today. I was home alone with them, and they didn't bark. Faith only barked at me one time today. We're also getting commercials for pet food from Wren's, where I went to get Todd his food before he perhaps got poisoned or before he died. Certainly they were sending me rat poison commercials then. And so, called Black Cat or something like that. Black Cat rat poison. And, I thought of Todd the other day. I thought of this like cardboard wedge and he was pushing his head inside of it. And I was like, Todd, and I was trying to stop him, but he just kept doing it. And I just loved that he didn't care that I was trying to stop him. And then I woke up and I remembered he's dead. And I cried for a bit. Well, because I'm saying this, they'll send a rat poison commercial with a picture of a cat on it or something. They'll send some Wren's commercials. It's weird. It's like, it reminds me of making a grilled cheese with like an entire block of butter. When the cruelty is so excessive, when they max out the cruelty so much, it's like excessive to the point of like clear insanity. You don't even realize people could be so cruel. Like, I never knew people enjoy watching someone in terror. Like, I literally never understood that. Like, when I first felt terror and I was like in a state of terror and a state of innocence as well. like asking what's going on, and they're like laughing, like you'd like to know, wouldn't you? And I'm like asking with like you know how like you could pull the sword out if you have a pure heart. I'm like terrified, asking like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And they're like, we're gonna fucking you know. And I'm like trying to trust them. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to prove myself to them. I'm trying to like justify myself and appeal to them, appeal to some sense of humanity in them. Like if I could just prove it, you know. And then, so apparently you're not supposed to do that with someone who has like narcissistic psychopathy. That's like one of the human instincts, is to try to rectify it if someone has it wrong. But with some people, you can't do that. It just doesn't work. I didn't know those people exist. I mean, of course you hear about it, but you never actually realize that it's real and it's local. You think it's out there somewhere for those poor victims that you didn't really understand how it's real. You know, like satanic ritual abuse. It's like, it's so far-fetched that you can't imagine that it's real. Well, people wear disguises, I guess. And, I gotta get a new song here. I like the Dogs again. And strangely enough, I like Faith the best. She's the really loud one, the aggressive one. Well, she's not aggressive, but she's guarding. You know, she's like... I knew when I was home alone with her that she wouldn't bark at me. And I asked ChatGPT, why is that? And it said, it's because your mom feeds her and walks her, and I don't feed her and walk her except for giving her treats. So she's guarding her resources. Like, she sees my mom as resource. And so if I give her resources, she might be more like friendly to me, I guess. But she is friendly to me, but just not when I open a door. She's like freaks out when you open a door. And today she was barking at everything, like the mailman, the birds. She's going in my mom's room, just looking out the window on her bed, barking. And I was like, this is crazy. And where's the lick mat? We got her a pheromone collar today. So this collar, it smells like a new car or something. The whole living room smells like a new car. And it apparently works for like 6 months or something. And it's a calming pheromone collar, and she is really calm. Now she's laying on her side, and when I come downstairs, she doesn't even lift her head up. She's like really tired looking. She had 2 walks today. And so she only barked at me once while I was coming downstairs. Otherwise, we've called it a miracle. Every single time I go down, she's fine with me now. And so tonight, I guess we'll see how it goes. Well, because when I she sleeps in my mom's room, and then when I open the door to go to the bathroom, that sets her off too. So then it's like I wake up 3 or 4 times in the middle of the night to pee, and every single time she's like, but we have had, I think, one night where I was able to get through the whole night without her barking, even when I would go to the bathroom. So, and otherwise she's sweet. Like, it's, but this lick mat thing, it's like this thing with grooves in it, like a mat with grooves, and you smear peanut butter on it, and you freeze it too, and it takes them like 45 minutes to lick all the peanut butter out. And it's funny because if she has a bone or peanut butter or something, and I walk downstairs, she doesn't care about barking. She's not a guard dog then. When she has her food, she's like, I'm good. So ChatGPT says it's not aggression. She's just like boundary testing or something. And when you have a foster dog, 3 to 10 days into it, it's the most bad the dog will show you its worst behavior then. So I've been afraid of liking these dogs. I'm like, well, they're just foster dogs, so no one's gonna hurt them. And, and I'm afraid like I'm gonna like them and then someone's gonna hurt them. But then I figure, well, if we have a faction of gang stalkers who like us, who like the dogs too, they can protect the dogs too. And I felt bad to the tenant too that the dog is barking so much. And I like the tenant. I don't think she's from a faction that. I think she's from a faction who is. I think she's a gang stalker of my handler. I think. But I don't snowball her sidewalk at the back because she smoked in the house for so long. But otherwise, I like her. If you're just doing your job, I don't really. I get the sense she likes me. If she's a gang stalker who is working for someone who distinctly doesn't like me or has like more psychopathic tendencies than the average person, I get the sense she's like, yeah, it sucks, but we're friends, and it's just the roles, and I feel the same way. And a part of being friends is saying, well, you did smoke a lot in the house, so I'm only gonna do your snowblowing now because my mom told me to. And so, I ate a whole watermelon today. I had like 6 pounds. No, probably like 10 pounds of watermelon. Watermelon weighs like 12 or 15 pounds. I didn't, like a fucking huge watermelon. Like this bowl was like full of watermelon. I drank like 4.1 liters of water just by eating this watermelon. I also cut off the avocados. We're done avocados. I hope. My mom was at the grocery store for me today, and she said, like, as she was coming home from work, and because she bought me some mangoes too. Because, like, I do the dishes, and I, like, took care of the dogs today, and she said, do you want avocados? And I was like, no. Because once it gets late, I start eating avocados. And I ate 3 avocados last night, and the day before I ate 5. And that's way too many. It fucks your mood up. It really fucks your mood up. You can't do it. And you think it's okay because it has a delayed effect. So you don't even know how bad you're gonna feel later. And I was like, fuck that. I'm not getting more avocados. I'm not doing it. No more salad. I'm done. Today, watermelon only. So, like, I bought 2 watermelons. So today I ate 1 watermelon. That's all I'll be eating today. Unless I have a salad, which I'm not supposed to do, because there is an avocado downstairs. $12 for 1 watermelon. How much do you spend on food a day? $12 a day? Is that too much? Is that expensive? For me, that's expensive. If I eat other things, it's way cheaper. If I eat bananas, I can eat like for $4 or $5 a day. If I eat apples, I can eat for like $3 or $4 a day. And they're really good apples. So, I can get enough calories, and maybe for treat days, the most expensive thing I eat is mangoes and watermelon. I mean, today I have a $5 bag of mangoes that weighs 3 pounds. That's kind of a small meal. I should have got 2 bags of those for like 1.5 meals. But I'm going to have 1 meal of mangoes for $5. 4 really big mangoes. Not quite enough calories, but that's fine. Okay. It's enough to feel good. It's not enough to get muscular. So I don't know what to say. I mean, there are some things that are stressful. I guess we could talk about it. It's difficult for me to talk about vulnerable things, you know. Because it's going to be exploited. Anything you say that's vulnerable is going to be exploited. So I don't know, what to say. Well, I guess I'll tell you. I'm probably going to go visit my friend tomorrow. And whenever I drive by a school, the gang stalkers extra threaten to kill my mom and I. Now, I could take a different route and say, okay, I'm going to comply. Or I can not take a different route and say, whatever you do isn't my fault, and I don't want to comply with you because I don't trust you at all. I don't trust that complying with you makes any difference. And I think that you want me to comply with you because you want me to believe that that's justified for me to have to do that. And even if you're not trying to make me feel guilty, and you really are threatening me, I am questioning, is it better to take your punishment and not comply with you, or is it better to comply with you? And then it factors in, what about the friendly gang stalkers? Perhaps the friendly handler, who will understand that there's no reason for me to have to avoid a school. Now, throw in the fact that it's going to be 6 or 7 p.m., but still it makes no difference to them. They're like, you can't do it or we're going to kill you, and you're... Now, what if it was 3 p.m.? This is a question for me. And then what do I have to suffer for it? Some car is going to cause an accident with me? Or make me hit a pothole? Or we're going to get a spoofed phone call? What's it going to be? And then what happens? Is there someone else watching out who says, not allowed? I don't know. Makes me question what I should do. I made a video the other day where I said, I'm going to only go on certain streets to avoid these problems. And that video got 10 likes. And I wondered if that was the handler sending people to like that. What would Lucy do from Fallout? Can I trust in the goodness of people? That someone is watching out? That there are multiple people watching out? That some other handler has targeted my handler? And all my handler can do now is white noise? And annoyance? What do you think? Well, I'm going to be visiting my friend. I think he's my best friend, really. He was the one who just got out of the psych ward. I haven't visited him since he's been out, and he said, "Man, I get really high on these pills." I was like, "Yeah, I can tell." He's quit drugs now. I mean, he does marijuana, and he always is high. Like, we've been high since high school. I got high with him for a while in high school, and then I was high for about 10 years. And now he's totally straight lace. Now he's like, I roll cigarettes now. And he's like, I don't like it, the fact that the Seroquel they give me is making me high. I was like, well, you seemed like super fucking high when we were hanging out at the mental hospital. You seemed like you were on like a million pills. Like, it was like a stimulant. You were clearly on a stimulant, which I think even something like Seroquel, which is supposed to calm you. I've also taken Seroquel. When you take enough of it, I think it has a different effect. Or I don't know if it's called reverse homeopathy or something, where if you give someone who's not crazy a pill for crazy people, it makes them have a stimulant effect. Whereas if someone's already overstimulated and you give them something that calms them down, then it'll make them calm. And so what would you do for your pride? What would you sacrifice? And what's your fear like? How much does your fear make you bend? Well, what about psychologically? I don't know if you've ever been a mind-controlled slave. For example, someone just treats you like you don't matter. And you feel like you don't matter. Someone erases your soul so that you depend on them. And then you're totally needy for their approval. Then you're totally obedient. That, oh my God, I need them now. Totally a suck up to them. At their mercy, like some kind of animal being trained. And you feel your sense of self just vanish. And you think, it can't be working like this. It can't work like this. I can't be aware of what's happening and it still happens. Just watching helplessly as myself disappears and I become what this person wants me to. Which I hate. I feel gross and scared. And anything they want me to. They can push a button and my emotions go into whatever they want me to. Well, when you get out of that, there are different kinds of freedom. Psychological freedom, physical freedom. And you get out of psychological slavery and you're amazed at the power of mind control, at how real it is, emotion control. And then what's the point of asserting yourself physically? I'll go to my friend's house without taking a detour. I'll go the logical way. Is that like I'm trying to prove something to myself? like, they can't control me? Is it because I want to prove it to them that you can't control me? Is it something else? That to comply somehow is immoral? Unethical? Is that what it is? That to comply is unethical? And who even appreciates ethics? You know? Well, you do, don't you? And then, yeah, I think I'm pretty much settled. I'm taking the logical route. Now, then do I take a camera? Okay, then they're gonna swerve out in the road in front of me. I don't know. It doesn't matter. You know, they'll just carry it over to the next. If you take a camera, then they'll say, oh, okay, well then we'll break in, then we'll gas you, then we can get you. You can't. It's not like you can see it coming. It's not like you can prepare for it. You're totally blind, being ambushed. And then, do I have the protection of anyone? Or is it just me on my own out here? Well, I don't know. But let's just suppose it's me on my own out here. What then? I don't know. Well, there is a sort of apparent contradiction. There was a cashier at the Fresco who assaulted me and made it look like an accident. And I don't go back to the Fresco anymore. Another one filmed me while I was in line and made it really obvious so it would dehumanize me. And so I don't go to the Fresco anymore. Why not? Am I scared? And if I don't go to the Fresco anymore, why wouldn't I take a different route to my friend's house? Isn't it the same thing? Why do you pick and choose? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should go to Fresco too. I'm glad we talked about it. Well, I went to Fresco for so long, it humiliated me. Feeling outcasted there. It hurt my feelings. But It wouldn't bother me to go there. Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a bit too reclusive. Well, the other thing is, it's stressful, and I'm still getting my diet right. I'm still getting my sobriety locked in. For example, I can't remember when it was, but a couple nights ago, I think about then, I ate 5 avocados. But even the day before then, I had 2 avocados, I think. But I didn't drink enough water, and I didn't eat dinner except for avocados and salad, which wasn't a proper meal. I need 2 proper meals of fruit per day, of like at least 3 pounds each, or like something really calorically dense, like bananas was not quite 3 pounds. And I felt like I lost my meditation a bit. Combined with that honey pot, I lost my meditation a bit. And I didn't have much clarity. And I was susceptible to demonic attacks. Or in non religious talk, I was susceptible to becoming unconscious or traumatized. In fact, I became traumatized. And I went back into a form of psychological slavery temporarily. And it took me like a couple hours maybe to snap out of it. And a big part of it was the delayed effect of those avocados. It was just too much. You know, when your body is, after a 25-day water fast, and suddenly you eat like 125 grams of fat, it's like a very significant effect. It's extreme. It's more extreme than you might imagine. And so, you know, I felt like I had drank like 10 beers or like, I've never lost my cool on beer or alcohol. I've drank a lot. I've drank like, I think a 26er of vodka. I never lose myself. But on weed I can. And just eating too much. And so I'm taking it slow. I don't want to get more stress than I can handle. I don't want more torture and heinous events than I can process. You know, you don't have to be Superman or something, but you have to be as strong as you are, and you have to grow. And I'm learning. I mean, certainly I'm not eating a bunch of avocados again tonight. And, you know, today my diet was good, and that means will get better sleep as well. But just one bad day. I mean, there's so many ripple effects. You eat too many avocados, you're in a weird mood. And then you don't get enough, you can't sleep either because you're wired, but you're tired. And then your whole next day is fucked up too. And then you eat more avocados that day, and then you get even further down. And you lose your clarity, you lose your grip, you lose your morale, you know, your certainty of yourself, your confidence, your patience too. You know, now the dog can bark. It doesn't really bother me. But before, when the dog was barking, when I was all fucked up on avocados, I was like angry and irritable, and it was really uncomfortable. So to face the battles, I have to take care of myself, which I'm doing. And so I think, okay, well, then maybe face the battles. You know, I almost went out for a walk with the dogs today, which would have been stressful for me. But they fell asleep, so I didn't. But, you know, I'm at the point where soon I might be walking the dogs. And depending where I walk them, there's going to be harassment, threats, and who knows if some of the harassment will be dangerous. Well, Freshco is amazing for lettuce, and that's about it. They have a few good things. There's like they don't have watermelons. Yeah, I can go anywhere. The energy of people doesn't affect me, except for people who are cool. Then I like, it's nice to say hi. And the energy of people who aren't cool, it does affect me too. It really does, actually, truthfully. But it doesn't affect me in the same way. Both are true. It doesn't make me freak out like it used to. As long as I keep up my understanding that I'm not above the process. I can't just say, oh, I'm enlightened and I'll just eat avocados now. Like, I'm very much indebted, I don't know the word, responsible to my body. Like, my body must be treated a certain way in order for my mind to work properly. And to hell with meditation. Just on the level of the mind and the emotions, if those are working properly and I feel sober and present and clear and in a good mood, I can say, yeah, meditation is there. Certainly. I also feel the upwards flowing energy of meditation. But to have that and have a fucked up mind is like not cool. Like you need both. Into blinding darkness go they who worship action alone, but into even greater darkness go they who worship meditation alone. If I have to choose meditation or self-care, I choose self-care. But I don't choose. I have both. So, anyways, being scared is a turn on too. I don't know if a lot of people know that. It's something akin to being manic, where you think it's the best thing in the world. Until you get out of it. Then you go, fuck that. Peace is a higher dimension than that. Give me peace or give me intensity. I choose peace. And that's not the same thing as apathy. And just because apathy is just repressing the intensity. Those repressors are fucking volcanoes. They're always ready to snap. I've seen plenty of those guys. They're lifting weights and they're working out and they're doing everything. Okay, well, that's about all we got for today. I'm going to play some Sonic Racing. It's awesome. And goodbye.